What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Swanky Disc Golf. Today we are going to count down our favorite understable disc for every speed from 1 to 12. I'm super excited to talk about this. We love understable discs. We are Noodle Arms and it is our home and native land. We absolutely love these discs. I can't wait to share them with you. Before I do, I want to remind you to subscribe to the channel for new videos every single week. Like the video if you're enjoying it, and be sure to let us know what understable disc we missed on the list. What is your favorite at each speed? Right off the bat, I have an honorable mention. This disc didn't make the list, but we are giving it away on our new podcast YouTube channel. Some of you guys might know we have the Swanky Disc Golf Show, our podcast. It's on Spotify and Apple Music. If you've been listening, thank you so much. But we're actually starting its own YouTube channel, the Swanky Disc Golf Show, and we're giving away this disc over on that channel. A video just went live at the same time this video went live. You can find it in the link in the description below, the Swanky Disc Golf Show, and we're giving away this sick fused Scorch, really awesome, kind of understable 11 speed. This one will probably be a little bit beefier in this plastic, but really cool disc. Huge shout out to Discraft for sending us this. Go check out that channel, subscribe, and enter the giveaway. All right, now on to the best understable disc at every speed, starting all the way at the bottom, 1 speeds. 1 speeds, when I think of them, I think of like fun discs. Most of them you can play catch with, but you can also just throw really fun shots with. And so I decided to go with the Sonic. This is an incredible, super fun disc. It kind of looks like one of those free discs you pick up from like your local bank that for some reason is giving away Frisbees. But if you get the Halo one, it's in this really cool plastic made famous by Garrett Gurthie, who notably uses it for like really far putts when he's straddling or in a tough position. And he can really just like flick his wrist and it floats up there. It's super understable. The numbers on the Sonic are 1, 2, -4, 0. So it is very understable. It's very touchy. If you're trying to like rip it off the tee and shot shape with it, it's a little bit difficult, but you definitely can do it. I like it a lot for similar ways that Garrett Gurthie uses it. It's just like flicking it out of the wrist and you get such good sort of flip up and glide, even just putting with it. Really cool disc. You can play catch with it. Super fun disc at our 1 speed slot.
All right, the 2 speed slot. This was a fun one to look for because 2 speeds, typically a putting putter slot, and most people are looking for just a reliable straight shot, even with a little bit of overstability. So finding an understable throwing 2 speed, we knew exactly where we were going. It's the Trash Panda Intercore. It's 2 speed, 4 glide, -0.50, so it has just that touch of turn and it's gonna hold that turn. I think these phone case ones are probably a little more overstable than this one. This is one of the first runs, or an early run anyway.
3 speeds are a bit tricky. I feel like there's not a lot of super popular understable 3 speeds out there. My mind immediately goes to Prodigy. I love the PA4 super flippy disc, but I don't really know the flight numbers on there. They might have listed them as of late. They've started using flight numbers, but that aside, one of my favorite understable 3 speeds has been the Fierce for a long time now. Since these have come out, they come in premium plastic and base plastics, and they are such good throwers specifically. I've never putted with them. I don't know about putt. I feel like putting with a really understable disc is not super popular to do. It's kind of tricky. It's a little bit more finicky. Like I said, you use the Sonic for very special occasions, but when you're just stepping up to putt and you want a little bit of confidence, I feel like most people just veer towards slightly overstable putters, and that's what I do as well. So I've never putted with these, but throwing them is a ton of fun.
All right, number 4 is the only disc on this list that we don't physically have. And
it's very sad.
It's very sad, but we felt the need to still shout this disc out because it's a very unique slot. Understable discs become easier to find right away when you hit 5 speed.
Yes.
But 4 speed and under is a little more difficult, and the Clash Discs Peach is the understable 4 speed. It's the best one out there. We are Clash's biggest fans when it comes to their plastic, the way that they market their discs, and also just the hand feel and the flight of them. But the Peach is fantastic. We did have a chance to review the Peach actually on this hole, but we don't have it anymore. We gave it away, sadly. That disc is fantastic. The numbers on it are 4.5, -2.1. It flies like a dream. It's a slightly more controllable version of some of the discs that we'll talk about at the 5-speed and 6-speed mark. So definitely, if you're in the market for an Understable 4-speed or just a more controllable Buzz SS or something in that range, the Peach, please go try the Peach. It's absolutely worth it. Fantastic mold, fantastic disc.
Once we jump up into the 5-speed slot, there's almost too many options. We've talked about our favorite mid-ranges a decent amount, and we keep landing on this idea that MVP produces this Understable mid-range mold that they outsource to other people. There's a chance that they do little retools. I don't know if they do. I don't think they do. There's 3 or 4 different companies that seem to be selling a very similar disc outsourced by MVP Axiom, and it's a phenomenal disc, and we want to shout it out because no matter what iteration you're picking up, it's going to be great. And there's, I don't know, maybe it's just very similar to the Paradox too. We love the Axiom Paradox, but what we're going with is the Jester Discs Peace Train, the ThoughtSpace Athletics Mana, and the Mint Discs Lobster. All of these come in different variations of plastic, so you might find your favorite plastic, or you might find your favorite branding from a company like the Peace Train, super cool from Jester Discs. ThoughtSpace is obviously always doing insane artwork if that's your thing, but these discs fly like an absolute dream. They are so good. These are the best shot shaping discs for amateurs I think you can possibly pick up, because they're at that speed where you can really rip on it full power and get a full S flight out of it. The numbers on the Peace Train are 5.4, -2.1, and these are all going to be kind of similar numbers. They might change it. They might put a decimal point in there because numbers don't really mean anything, but these all fly basically the same depending on what plastic you buy them in. And seriously, this like slot in the bag, I didn't bag an Understable mid-range for a long time because I just threw the Buzz, I used it for everything, and now this has seriously unlocked some shots in my game that I use all the time now. Definitely check these out.
All right, we've done a lot of newfangled plastic, a lot of a lot of molds that maybe you've never heard of, maybe you've heard of in passing, but when we get to 6-speed, you've heard of this one. That's right, it's Old Faithful. It's the Innovadisc Leopard. 60% of you threw this disc before you threw anything else. I know I'm one of you. This is a 148 gram DX Leopard. And I'm not saying you got to definitely go get yourself a DX Leopard, but the Leopard mold is super slept on by your average disc golfer because of the DX Leopard, because of its reputation as a beginner disc. The Leopard mold by itself, you can get them obviously in Star and Champion, all their plastics. The Leopard is awesome, fantastic, thrown by pros as well, and in addition to the Leopard 3, which is faster. But the Leopard being at 6.5, -2.1, this particular Leopard is going to be a lot flippier than your average Leopard that you get in a premium plastic. Still worth going out there and trying. There's plenty of Understable 6-speeds out there. Streamline's got the Ascend, which we've been liking a lot lately, but we thought the Leopard deserved a spot on this list just because this is Old Faithful. This may have been your first disc ever.
I mentioned earlier, when I think of Understable putters, I go to Prodigy. Really, when I think of Understable basically anything, I go to Prodigy. They're so good at putting out like just silly, crazy Understable things. And like I said, sometimes when I think of Understable discs, I think of like just what is the most fun thing I can throw. And so we're at the 7-speed slot, and there are so many incredible Understable 7-speeds. Some of our favorites being like the Clash Disc Soda. You have the Dreamweaver from Jester Discs we really like. You have like the Cicada from Discraft, which is maybe not super understable, but some of them, depending on the plastic, have a pretty understable flight. The Innova there's so many really cool ones, but I decided to go with what I thought was the most fun, and that is the F9. The F9 from Prodigy, 7.6, -5, 0.5. I don't know why the 0.5 is there. This thing is just the craziest, most understable disc ever, and it's super fun to throw. Shout out to the F9 challenge we did. We threw only F9s with Isaac Robinson. at a local park, and he killed it. It was actually super fun.
It was amazing.
I'll link that video here. Oh, I didn't put
roller.
enough. Wait, it's gonna roll right to the basket. Don't even worry.
Oh my.
Almost.
It's perfect. When I think of understable discs, the 8-speed slot is actually the first slot I think of. I think many people will have an overstable 7-speed and then an understable 8-speed. I don't know why that is. That's disc golf culture. I don't know why. You've got your 7502 disc in there. You got your 86 -21 disc in there. And that's what we have here. The Discmania Essence, the staple for disc golfers looking to throw that understable line. This is a Luxe plastic one from their mystery boxes. It's very understable, but this is a super reliable disc. This isn't as understable as some of the discs we've just thrown, the DX Leopard, the F9. This is a more usable understability, or at least most Essences are more usable understability. This one in particular is quite understable, so we'll try to give you a good example of the flight here. But these things are incredible. Definitely they go in your bag for a beginner who's looking to throw just a straight shot with a fairway, all the way to a professional disc golfer who's looking to throw really tight woods lines and rollers.
All right, moving into 9 speeds. There's only a couple understable 9 speeds that I have bagged, one being the Falk from Castaplast. I absolutely love this disc, but I of course lately have been absolutely loving the Insanity. Axiom Insanity, 9.5, -2, 1.5. So just barely understable, really more straight flying. But this is gonna be great for when you're getting up there in arm speed. You're gonna be able to bag this for a long time. This will be your straight flyer, your slightly overstable flyer, your more understable flyer as you get up there in arm speed. This is just a really versatile disc that I think is gonna stay in your bag for a long time. All different levels of play can throw this disc, and this plastic specifically is probably going to be a little bit more overstable than these numbers suggest. Dude, that is yeah, that one's actually not understable at all. So we'll just cut that.
All right, 10 speed. Again, as we get into these drivers, tons of options. This recommendation comes from a new company, from a source you will know. This is Ken Climo's new line, Climo disc. This is his distance driver, the Osprey. So Climo Discs sent us these, and we actually been really liking them. They are understable. This disc is 10.6 -3.1. This came out with 3 other discs in Climo's line, and everyone said, oh, these discs are going to be, you know, the AVR, the Rock, and the Wraith, right? Because that's Climo's line from Innova. But this one stands out as the 4th disc that didn't really have an Innova counterpart that we could immediately latch onto. It's kind of unique, and we're really liking it. The plastic is, of course, reminiscent of Champion plastic, manufactured though by Discraft, so has a little bit of the Z feel in the flight plate, and it's pretty gummy, has some give. I really am enjoying this.
11 speed, also a lot of really good choices here. We talk about the DD a lot. We love the Dynamic Discs DD, but we wanted to go down to Texas for this next one, and we're picking the Lone Star Curl. This is a cool Swanky Time open one. This disc is technically overstable by the flight numbers, but we all know flight numbers don't mean anything. 11.5, -1.2. And maybe that varies from run to run, but this is the run we're very familiar with, and we've thrown a few different runs, and they all really feel more like -2.1 to us personally, who again, kind of noodle arms. And if we're saying this is like more understable than the numbers, it probably is. I really love the plastic though. Lone Star ripped out of the gate with this really quality plastic. And they've gotten even better over the years. So this one's kind of older, but the plastic is so good out of Lone Star. And I think if you pick up the Curl, you'll also find it's more understable than the number suggests. It does compare pretty well to a DD, I would say, like slightly more overstable than a DD, or less understable.
All right, guys, we are on the 12 speed, the last mold of this list. Before we get into it, just want to remind you, like the video if you're enjoying the content, subscribe for more videos every single week. And without further ado, the Thrasher is the 12-speed, and this is the OG Understable 12-speed. Of course, the Hades came along, and it kind of took the world by storm. Everyone said, what about the Thrasher? Well, the Thrasher's still getting love. Missy Gannon, of course, is repping the Thrasher out there every week. The Thrasher's coming in at 12.5, -3.2, lots of turn, a little bit of fade at the end, designed, of course, to get the full flight out of the disc. If you've never thrown an Understable 12-speed, the Thrasher is a great option for you. There's, of course, many options at 12-speed. But I think the Thrasher might be the most popular, and it's definitely our favorite.